Hey friends! Okay, here I am. As promised, I told you guys that I would keep you posted on the journey, and I'm really doing it, which is kind of amazing because I have a tendency to forget to keep things like this going. So here we are. I have finished my third full week and taken my fourth injection. So I'm starting my fourth week and I'm all finished with my third week on peptides from LEMD, specifically the GLP1/GIP, known as tirzepatide. So I continue for now to be on the smallest dose. It's just a little baby dose. It's 2.5. I took my last injection of that smallest dose today, and then it's the start of the second month, but next week I will go up to 5 milligrams. So the biggest changes continue to be inflammation. I hit kind of a really exciting milestone this week when I was volunteering at our middle school camp, and I realized that I could kneel again. So I'm a floor sitter. I prefer, if I'm talking and hanging out with kids or somewhere else, I prefer to sit on the ground. And then of course, I end up kneeling. Well, I couldn't do that for the last 3 years. I'm going to actually post a picture of it because I took a picture of myself kneeling on the ground because I was just so excited. But my knees just and all my joints felt so full of fluid that it was really uncomfortable. It almost felt like they were going to pop. I can't even describe it, but my knees just didn't want to bend and let me sit on them. And so I was down on the floor with the kids, having a great time. I was sleeping on a camp mattress at a Christian camp, these, bunks and things. I was there with the kids in there. I was a cabin leader, and I had no pain in my hips or my knees, my ankles, any of my joints. And then we had a total of 5 sessions of worship over a day and a half. And I was right there with the kids, jumping, being hype, with them, and I had no issues. So that was huge because, talk about changing your life. That inflammation was just destroying me. My cabin, the girls in my cabin, my sweet little junior hires, I think they were a combination of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And, I don't think they were just being nice, but they were genuinely shocked. They thought I was 20. I was like, did you see, and they thought it was highlights I had put in my hair on purpose. I was like, oh, bless you, children. But I shared that because I honestly, afterwards, I was thinking about I just wasn't stiff. I just wasn't moving around like a 43-year-old. I was jumping around with the kids and able to be totally present and with them. And they literally thought I was a college age kid. So that is a huge, just a huge milestone, huge win, no pain. I have, my waist circumference has gone down from 34.5 when I first measured it to 28 inches. So that's a total loss over these 3 complete weeks of 6.5 inches from around my midsection. And you guys know, I'm not take a lot of photos of that particular area. I'm never gonna be in a sports bra and leggings showing that, but y'all know me. And so what had happened is that was actually one of the areas I was the most inflamed and one of my biggest pain points. So to see movement like that so quickly, everything else from here is yes, I have goals and weight loss goals, but to have the inflammation, to not be in pain and moving around like an old lady while I'm running around with the kids, it is, yes, Suzanne, it's life-changing. It's wonderful. It's such an answer to prayer. And then around my hips, I've lost 3.5 inches since starting. So I don't have additional weight loss to share. It stayed the same this third week, but I lost more inflammation. So that's a total win. So far I have lost a total of 6 pounds, and I don't think that that's fat loss. I think that that is weight, inflammation weight. Very exciting. So one thing I didn't share about last week was, what is it like? So for me, it feels like freedom because I was on so many restrictive eating plans and programs before this. So coming right up to this, I was doing blood testing like 4 or 5 times a day because I was insulin resistant. I'm not saying am, just because I like to watch my words. And I'm really wanting to agree with the fact that that's changing. So I was insulin resistant. I was having to test my blood all the time. I was so messed up that when I would eat protein, it was spiking my glucose, which is not supposed to happen. And so I was basically living on beef, butter, eggs, and cheese. Like, talk about like ultra restrictive. Hi, Angela. Oh, hey, Debbie Belt. I love you. I was eating ultra restrictive, and I mean all through the Christmas holidays. Like, I'm kind of an all or nothing person, so when I say I was doing like ultra strict carnivore, that is what I was doing. And so now I needed the extra fiber, so I had to add in vegetables and fruits. Yay! So that means for breakfast, I'll have like Greek yogurt. I sweeten it just with monk fruit. I've still stayed completely off of sugar, off of all refined and white carbs. But I can have strawberries and blueberries and raspberries in my yogurt. And so I feel like I have so much freedom. I'm like, if I can eat fruit and yogurt, then I can do anything. For lunch, I'll usually have, I make a lot of soups and I can them. I know that's really weird. It's like an old lady kind of hobby, but I got into it a year ago so I could help feed my grandmother. She lives about an hour away, and so this way I can make her like fresh food that it's shelf stable, and then I love it too. So my friend Sarah, she gave me a recipe for like a green chicken chili pozole, and I made a bunch of it and canned it. So I'll like open up one like that and have it for lunch. Or I have like vegetable beef soup or different things. I don't like to buy the store-bought ones personally because they have so much sodium. So I'll have that. And then for lunch, I have a tendency to whatever meal I make for my family, I just really double up on. I just eat only the protein, because I will say the challenge in getting enough protein and water is like real, like, because you're not super hungry. So basically every bite of food you put in your mouth, it counts, and it probably should be like highly nutritious and definitely should have some protein in there. So that's real. It's very difficult to get enough water. You need like a lot of water, and I lost my cup at camp. So now I'm happy to drink from a cup that's not my magic water cup that makes me, I don't know. You guys get attached to things like that? Is that just me? You're like, but this is my water cup. This is for my water and electrolytes. But okay, yeah, I gotta buy a new one. But for now, I'm just drinking out of a regular cup, like a peasant. I don't know. One new thing that I noticed was last week I had 2 or 3 days of, it wasn't acne, but it was like almost like a breakout. It was really slight. I texted my friend Caroline, who's the pharmacist, and I was like, this doesn't feel like acne. It feels like skin. It feels like something's flushing, like something's moving, like my body's doing what it's supposed to do, maybe kidneys or something like that. It was really slight. It lasted a couple days. It didn't even bother me. It didn't even show up it didn't show up once I put on my makeup. So it wasn't a problem. I just mostly took that as a good sign that like there's different systems in my body that are waking up. They're starting to do what they're supposed to do. I did move the injection site from my stomach to like my, like the muffin top spot back here last week. And it was totally painless. I was like, this is the way to go. But then I must have gotten too casual today because I was like, youch. So I think I might have accidentally like put in a stretch mark or something. So I will go back to being very cautious and very methodical next week. But even so, it was like, whatever. I don't even honestly care about that because losing all the inflammation is so amazing. Sorry, last week I rushed through. So this week I'm making sure I like go back and like, what are my different observations so I can share them with y'all. I have noticed that I definitely feel the effect of it the first 5 days the most. So I had really come a long way with like making healthy choices and really like appropriate like portion sizes and stuff like that. The saddlebag top of the hip. Yes. I think I just grabbed a wrong one today, Angela. I got to be more careful. But to be honest, days 1 through 5 of taking it, it's so natural. You don't even have to like, I don't even have to like decide to make good choices. Like stuff just doesn't sound good. I'm not worried about, like I stop eating when I'm full. And then I noticed the last 2 days, it goes back to like, I decide. So that's not a problem for me, but I'm like, everything I observe, I'm trying to share with you guys. Like, it's definitely stronger in my body days 1 through 5. And then I can feel that it's lightening up the last 2 days. Not a problem. But during the first five days, things stop tasting good after I'm like full. So I think that if I was in a place where I was still training myself to make, like, looking at it as like, I need to make lifestyle changes and this is a tool to help me do that, then I would find that like extraordinarily beneficial. So if that's something where like you just really struggle with stopping when you're full or making good choices, then this would be really helpful for that. I think what people call it is like food noise, or like before, when I had binge eating disorder and I would take the Vyvanse, the way that I would describe it is wherever I went in the house, it felt like there was like a fishing line connecting me to like the pantry and the refrigerator. Like I was always super aware of it. I was always deciding not to walk over and do that. A lot of that through like counseling and a lot of inner healing and stuff like that has lessened, but I noticed that it is gone on days 1 through 5. And then I like think about food like more normally on the last 2 days. So just showing that. Other thoughts. As I take this and I'm seeing other, like the real results, like the inflammation, like there's just 6.5 inches of inflammation gone from my midsection. That is so significant. And I find it really hard not to just get a little frustrated as I look back over the last 3 years and think about how much flipping money I have spent on all these supplements that were supposed to do things and all this other stuff and the programs, and like, you know, had that whole like doctor and nurse guided thing that was guaranteed to work. And I just spent so much money and time not understanding that for me, I had like a physiological gap there. Like my cells were not communicating correctly. Like the things were not happening, but that's okay. God brought this across my path at the right time, and I just have to let it go and be grateful that God led me to it at this time. But again, I'm sharing all the things, right? So that's the real. The number one question that I get from people that I've been sharing this with or that have messaged me, then probably the number one thing that I get is like, will you have to be on this forever? Would I have to be on this forever? Like, I've seen that a lot of people use GLP1's for weight loss and then they gain the weight back. And I have spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I've done some research on it, and I've talked to my friend, the pharmacist, and here is where I have landed on it. So tirzepatide, I'm not talking about semaglutide, to be honest. That's something that really only works on one system of the body. I haven't taken it. I don't have any experience with it. So when it comes to talking about a GLP-1, I'm actually talking about tirzepatide, but it works on multiple systems in the body at the same time. So it's affecting the appetite and being satiated. I can't say it correctly. In the brain, insulin secretion and sensitivity in the pancreas, gastric emptying in the gut, fat storage and overall metabolism, and it's reducing inflammatory signaling system-wide, okay? So it's not just doing one thing, it's changing the entire metabolic signaling environment, okay? And everybody's body is different, and we all have like the different dam that's holding up our progress, all right? So for some people, it might be lifestyle and choices, and it might be flat out eating too much, not eating the right things. For another person, it could be insulin resistance or leptin signaling. It could be genetics. It could be a metabolic adaptation, hormonal patterns, inflammation, or any combination thereof, okay? So you've got this one thing that people are taking, but it's working in so many different ways in very individual bodies. So that's why responses vary so much. So for some people, it's possible that, for instance, if the main problem is cellular signaling and like communication, getting these things going, then it's totally possible that their systems are begin talking, and then they keep talking. And so they don't end up having to stay on it forever. For other people, like, it could be that there is literally like a gap in my system that is not going to continue to operate properly without some help. And then for some people, they might choose to use it as a tool to curb their appetite and help them make healthy choices, but they don't actually like make healthy lifestyle changes. They just simply eat less of the same things. Well, then if you take away the GLP-1 that's changing their appetite, of course, they're going to gain the weight back. For other people, they might make use of that tool to really make the changes they've been wanting to, and maybe they don't. For some people, it'll fix it. For other people, it won't. But the place that I've landed is, if I get to the place where I am at a healthy weight and the inflammation is gone and I begin to slowly step back off of it and the inflammation comes back, then that will tell me that my body has something missing in what it's doing without it, and I will happily stay on it because I don't actually really care. I just want my life back. I love that I could jump around with the kids this weekend. I love that I'm sleeping well and I have mental clarity, and I am just in so much of a better place than I was 4 weeks ago that I honestly do not care if I have to microdose it forever. I will happily do that. Let's see. On top of the weight and metabolic benefits, the medication tirzepatide is good for cardiovascular health, kidney function, and liver health, particularly with fatty liver disease, which it's actually really difficult to escape here in the United States. So there's also emerging data suggesting that it may help prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. So if I have to cycle on it and do microdosing, then I am totally at peace with that. Now, I know that's something that may bother some people. I think it really depends on where in the journey you are. If there are other things that you can try that might get you the results, I tried so many things, and this actually is cutting the inflammation in my body. So for me, I'm good. I'm not worried about it. If I have to microdose it forever, that's fine. Besides, actually, I'm already planning on staying on other peptides like NAD and glutathione because of all of what they do. So if I'm going to be injecting something anyways, because like the effects for longevity and clarity and just like aging are so phenomenal, like what does it matter if I'm microdosing one other thing too? So those are the main points for this week. I will update again next week. If you have questions or you just want to learn like more about the science of what peptides are and how they work in your body, which ones are available through the telehealth company that I'm going through or others, you're going to have gonna also have a chance to ask a pharmacist questions. We're going to be getting together for a Zoom this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central. There's going to be a second date coming if you can't make it, but I will have to keep you posted on when that is. And I had really planned on inviting more of you who have expressed interest in this already. I'm going to get to it tonight and tomorrow. But last week I ended up with the amazing opportunity to go to middle school youth camp as a cabin leader. And so that came with only 2 days to get ready because it was kind of a last minute thing. And so I jumped on it, and I have not done the inviting that I planned to. So if you're watching this and you would love the idea of learning about it from a clinical pharmacist and getting the chance to ask your burning questions like yourself, then don't wait for me to get a hold of you. Go ahead and ping me and I will send you all the information. But otherwise, I am working through a list of different people who have responded and watched and commented and things. As well as, quite frankly, after that, I'm going to be reaching out to basically everybody that I know because this has been changing my life and I'm really happy about it. And then lastly, this is turning out to be one of the most incredible opportunities as far as building an affiliate thing that I have ever come across. And so many people have reached out to me and so much has happened. I actually got recognized as one of LEMD's top enrollers of affiliates for February for the beginning, which just really confirmed for me the excitement. There's a desperate need for this. There's a lot of excitement around it, and there's a lot of people that need this and want this. So if you have been watching or curious or wondering whether this could be a good fit for you, please don't hesitate. Just reach out and ping me. I will tell you all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. Amber. Yes. Okay, I will give that specific question to Caroline. In fact, she might even see this and respond. We'll see. But yes, I will make sure that you get the second date and the and answer that question. I love you. I love you all. I hope that these are helpful. They get a lot of views. So I think that behind the scenes, quietly, even those of you who are not letting yourselves be known to me, there's a lot of people following along. And I love that. If my life can, and like my journey, and especially if the 3.5 years of like, I don't want to say hell. That's very dramatic, and my life is very good, so that's ridiculous. But the last 3 years of this, like being stuck in this place, can be some use, then that makes me really happy. Okay? So I will see you all soon. Mwah!